What's up, everybody? Tindo here, and here's what's going on today. There's a lot of stuff in the game room that needs to be put away because in the last couple days worth of episodes, you guys have sent me a bunch of packages with stuff that I don't know where to put it, but we're going to figure that out today. And then also, you might have noticed in the last week or so's worth of episodes, since we all went on lockdown, that I've been doing a lot of little work to set up Hannah's sewing area. She's got a nice little sewing table, etc., etc. If you haven't seen it yet, you're about to. We have been planning on putting some sewing type stuff into these episodes. Since we're all stuck at home, it might as well be the time that we get a little bit creative. So we're going to work on something today that we've been kind of putting the materials together to work on for quite some time now. It's going to be fun, but before we get that started, we gotta make some game room changes. So stick around. One of the biggest changes that I need to make to the game room, or honestly, one of the biggest changes I have been making to the game room are related to lighting. You see this right here? This is a LED garage panel. Like, you go buy that at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's meant to go in your garage, hanging on the wall, clamping on the wall. I acquired these from a movie. I was hired to film a movie. This has been 7 or 8 years ago now. And they went really cheap on their lighting kit and just bought a bunch of stuff like this cheap from Home Depot rather than investing in some expensive light stuff. And for whatever reason, when that film was over, they were left in my van, so I ended up just keeping them. And I have used them for ages and ages, and they've held up well, but it's not very easy to, to directionally point this light somewhere. So it's always just been a big blasting bunch of lights. So what I have come up with are some of the highest brightness LED bulbs that I can find in these garage clamps. And I have been basically diffusing these all around the game room, and I'll show you just a second, but let me get this plugged up. All right, so what I want to find out is if this is brighter. Oh yeah, that's brighter than that light panel by a little bit. So you'll be able to see here, I've actually got several of what I'm talking about all around the game room. This is the same light bulb in a chimera ball. 2, 3, yeah, I've got 3 of them so far. And I'm basically trying to continue to surround this room with those same light bulbs. Will you grab the balls for me, Hannah? And I want to get rid of these light panels because it's a lot easier to diffuse these and to make this light the quality of light that I want. And if you do any YouTubing at home or any filming or even any streaming and you're looking for some super cheap lights to make it more, video worthy, to make your light setup more video worthy, I highly suggest this. I suggest nice bright LED bulbs with a little bit of extra diffusion. It'll go a long way. Look how even that is. Oh, that looks cool. I look like a wizard with an orb. Come here and look at it. No, come here and look though. It's way different than you think. It's because of the auto settings on my camera. Just look at the screen. You see it? Yeah. Oh, wait. That's going to be the screenshot right there. What was I saying? What was I talking about? Yeah, if you're looking for an easy lighting setup and super cheap, go with this. Now listen, I have really expensive camera lights that are battery powered and you can plug them into the wall and they're dimmable and you can change the color temperature, but they're really expensive. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars, right? And so I really want to keep those pristine. So when I do professional work or I need to take them out for a really high-end video shoot that I'm doing, I want those to stay pristine. And these lights in here stay on, not 24/7, I'm not that wasteful, but they stay on a lot. And that's not something you want to do with some of those more expensive lights like I have. So these $10 bulbs are easily replaceable and you just need a bunch of them. So it's kind of my thought process there. Now let's get this down. I need to find a scroogey. All right. So that's not bad. That new light is really evening out the room because that light that was up there was just too directional. Those lights were about the same brightness, but that old panel light was just straight on. That one's more kind of filling up the room. I've got one more, but I don't know if I have another socket. I gotta find one. That's definitely the only other clamp we have, isn't it? Will you get that bag of lighting stuff out and see if there's any of those? You screw a bulb into it, but then it's just a wall plug out of the back. You know what I'm talking about? All right, I've acquired one more garage clamp light. It's kind of unfortunate because these are quite expensive, you know, $8, $9, $10. So when you need 10, 15 of them, they add up quite quickly. But I actually have a bunch of pieces of them that I've acquired from the bins for pennies. And so I kind of had to modify this one to fit, but it will work perfectly fine. So let's get this last light hung up and see how it looks. All right, there you go. As you can see, I'm pretty evenly lit. Pretty happy with that. But now the cool thing is that since I have negated the need for that particular panel light, I now am going to be able to light up my 3D printing area here with that panel. So I'm going to get that mounted up here. But first, I need a washer, a washer. Here we go, all the way at the bottom. I love my sorter boxes, and this actually brings up something else that has to get done today. I actually need a screw too. Those are right here on top. Boom, nice and bright. Now I can see. I'm happy with that. Now, that's just one thing that needs to get done today. Let's find something else. This right here is Hannah's Sims shelf, and it's already just completely full. And one of you crazy people sent us literally the entire Sims 3 collection in the mail yesterday. So I'm kind of, for now, just going to double up the Sims shelf, which I don't know why that makes me feel bad because I've doubled up every other shelf in this entire game room, but we're just out of space. I need to put another shelf on that bookcase so we can have another clean shelf of Sims. There's a whole lot of Sims going on right there. So I'm going to keep working in the game room today while Hannah works on something we've been meaning to get around to for a long time. We've got a long list of sewing projects we need to get done, which is why you might have noticed in some of our more recent videos, I've been working to make this sewing setup way, way more accessible and way cleaner. And so it is ready to go now. And so is Pants. He's already brought his toy and everything. But one of the first things we're going to do is I need a camera strap, okay? And I'm quite a large person, so the kind of camera strap that I want, I can't go to the store and buy because they're infinitely too small for me. I want a full body strap. I want to carry my camera on my hip but slung over my shoulder. That's just kind of what I've decided that I want to use. So we've got to make one. So Hannah's going to do that today. And we're not exactly sure what it's going to look like. I mean, I've got like a pretty good design in my head, but we're kind of workshop it as we go. So I want to make two. I don't know if we're going to make both of them on video, but we're certainly going to get one of them done today. We've got a black option and a red option, and we've kind of come up with some clever ideas how we can mix match them. But really, I want a black one so that when we're out shooting these vlogs, I can have it strapped around, you know, over my black shirt, and it won't be super noticeable. If I put a big red strap down to a camera on my hip, a little bit noticeable, right? But I do think that would look cool, so I do want to have one of those for not quite so stealth use. But let's start with the black one today. That way, the red one will turn out cooler, maybe, because we'll have already done one.
Gotta get out my big tape.
You think the little one's not big enough?
Yeah, it's definitely not big enough.
That is so long. All right. So, well, I mean, we could also just use the thing to measure, because it's going to need to go, the way I'll probably wear it most is on my left shoulder and down around to my right. So,
okay.
So I can grab the camera almost like a, so we want it, I want the camera to sit on my hip.
Okay.
Right? So there needs to be enough excess that it kind of sits loose on my shoulder, and there's basically going to be a little quick release right here with the camera attached to it. Okay. So that way I can pick it up and do this, or I can hit the quick release and just take it off the strap.
Okay.
So I don't know if you even need to measure. I think you probably just need to put a pin in it.
Well, what I was kind of thinking is to make it adjustable for you, or do you not want that?
Well, we should make it adjustable just in case we're out in public and I've got to hand it to you and you've got to wear it, because this is going to go down to your knees.
Right.
But
so I've got the little...
I don't know a good way to do that off the top of my head, because this is not going to be a normal, perfect layering. They are going to have to cross stitch so that it sits on my body. They're going to have to cross each other so it sits on my body comfortably. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Honestly, let's probably not make this first one adjustable.
So you need a connection here and here, or just up here, or just up?
You don't need to sew that.
Okay.
Just
So
there, but you might as well go ahead and sew this
yeah,
underneath
I'll
that.
connect it all
Can
with
our
one
machine
stitch.
sew through 3 layers of this?
Absolutely.
All right. I thought so, but you know.
Yeah, not a problem.
It's a tough little machine.
I could sew through 3 layers of denim plus this.
You got a nice dramatic light too.
I do. So the first thing I really want to do is make sure that these edges are finished off so that they don't end up like this with major use like we're going to be doing. So I'm going to take this apart, but remark. Trusty dusty blowtorch.
Danger, Hannah has fire.
Beautiful. The other side shouldn't matter because it's going to be seamed inside of it, so it won't fray as much. And even if it does, we won't see it, so 2 pins should do. Oh, got a little bit coming off the edge there. We're professionals here. The angle of this, I need to chop that side off.
You've got a floof underneath you.
He wants that to play with that measuring tape.
Yeah, he does.
Those are his favorite toy. All right, it's go time. This machine has no problem sewing through this much stuff, but I do kind of want to take it easy. Sometimes the bobbin doesn't like it.
All right, let's do a try on real quick. You can kind of see here it's just a little bit longer than I wanted, just a couple inches, which is good because we're going to add an adjustment strap. The more comfortable thing to do would be to probably add the adjustment strap somewhere over here. And we still might do that. I kind of just want to put it on the center so it's just in a simple place, but that might cause a little bit of shoulder irritation. But I do worry putting the adjustment down here, the weight of the camera is always going to pull it loose. If it's up here on the center and it's sitting right on it, or the overlap of the adjustment sitting on top of your shoulder, it won't quite be aggressed the same way that it would down here. So I don't know. What do you think, Anna? You want to put it on the side or the top?
You've got a good point because, I mean, the weight of the camera will pull it, but it's probably going to be completely, you know, it's going to be adjusted all the way out for you.
Yeah.
It'll only be a problem when I'm wearing it.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. I'm half tempted with this one to just not even put the adjustment in, but I want to because this is a slightly more confusing conversation. We don't currently plan on reselling anything like this, though we might. We definitely have been planning to make TindoStrash.com more crowded in terms of products, a lot more stuff on there, but we want to make most of everything on there out of recycled materials like these. This is a bunch of lashing that we either found rolls of at the clearance center or we often cut it off of stuff. So our goal is to make sustainable, reusable, recycled stuff like this. So I guess comment below if you'd be interested in this kind of thing. Again, our plan right now is not to sell these, but in the case that we do grow fast enough and soon enough that this might become a viable thing to kind of mass produce on our own, semi-mass produce, I don't know what the term for that is, I do want to go ahead and make one that's fully functional. I want to test it and really test it before we maybe sell it. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do the adjustable bit on top, and maybe on the next one we make, we'll do it on the side, and I'll just switch between them for a week or two and test it that way. You think?
Sounds good.
Let's do the top.
Cool. So the first thing I need to do is slice this in half because one side is going to be wrapped around the inner bar of this to hold the little adjuster in place, and then the other one is going to be the thing that folds over the top and gets slid in and out. All right. Now for my favorite part. Hee hee. So satisfying. Boom. All right.
It's nice to have all the tools you need right here, isn't it?
Melty. All right, so I think I want this thing to be pulled back because if I'm I'm wearing it and I pull it to be adjusted forward, it's going to be flopping in my shoulder and in my hair, and it's going to really bug me. So this is going to be the side that's going to be attached, and then this is going to be the side that goes back.
Just pull the foot off.
Yeah. Mayhem ensued. Get that bop back on.
It's not level. You can flip it down.
There it goes. And I don't really have to do any fastening on this side. I just need to finish this off so that it doesn't slip through this thing at all. So I'm going to pin it in place and make sure that it's thick enough and I don't have to go through, like wrap it around like 2 or 3 times. This is probably going to be plenty though.
Oh, yeah, what?
It's totally fine.
Just go slow. If you do this at home, just go slow.
You may break a needle, but that's okay.
If you have extras like we do. All right, I'm very happy with what we've got. The center of the camera will now be able to sit squarely on my hip, which is what I wanted. We couldn't have got those measurements more perfect. Now, the next complication, the next thing that we kind of have to problem solve is how to attach the camera to the belt. Here's the thing about that makes it so complicated. The camera that this is being filmed on, the handheld camera that Hannah's currently running, and every other camera that I have in my life, all has the same kind of attachment. Matter of fact, let me see your camera, Hannah. The camera you're watching and the camera that Hannah's been holding has this same plate on it. And this plate works on a very, very specific quick release system. This bad boy right here, let me get it right. This will pop on there, and then I can attach this bit to anything I want. So this tripod has one, all my other tripods have one, every stand in the house. So I need to put one of those attachments on this so that my camera at any time can be quick released from my strap and put back onto my tripod, right? That might seem a little bit obsessive, but believe you me, when you have 5 cameras running at all times and they're all different cameras and you've got to attach different stuff to different things, it's very nice to, at any single moment you want to, attach any piece of your camera equipment. Your lights, I can take a light off the wall over here and attach it to this tripod. It's an obsessive thing, but after years of camera work, it's really how it's one of the main ways in which I'm allowed to crank out more content than the average person would, because I don't spend any extra time on screws. If I've got to unscrew something, I'm mad. It's just, it's a habit that I've really stuck to over the years of being a cameraman. So these cameras have to work with this system. So it is adding a little bit extra weight. This is several ounces, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work for sure. Now, the last complication is when I get this on here, is the camera gonna flop forward? Is this gonna stay tight? I don't want this to be dangerous, right? So I don't want to be running around town and my camera falling off of it. As I've already said today, that will not be happening. So what we've got to do is attach this bad boy on here. I think we'll just drill a hole straight through it and then we'll burn it with the torch. All right, so I've got a 1, 2, 3 block here so I don't drill a hole in my table. We want to find about the epicenter of this. This should be on the left. So that, let me look at the bottom of this camera. Yep, it's got to go in just right. So right there in the center. Very nice. Now let's do a little torchy torch. Just to be sure. Now, we want to pick the proper screw. And I've got a lot of options, things that I can hand turn, things that have to be turned with an Allen head wrench. We got to get this right. Now, I've got my washers here. We're going to put a washer between here and the plate. Now, so that is going to go on the left side. This is really going to be the hardest part because we don't want this coming loose, and we certainly don't want it flopping around. It's something we super don't want. So I'm really going to have to find something that's going to lock itself down. The best thing that would probably be to do would be to put a grommet, a metal grommet of some sort through here, but we don't really have the tools at our disposal to do that right now, so we're going to go with this melted hole. All right, now let's put it on, and then watching from that camera there, let's take this handheld. Now there's a little bit of something I was worried about here, and you can see the camera kind of dangles downward, which you don't want, but that's because the lens is heavy. So there's not a lot you can do about that, and it's not going to hold any less. I would prefer it to set this way, but that's not going to happen without a longer or bigger mounting system. So that's okay. But I am just a little bit worried about whether or not this is going to stay. So it's really just going to take some careful testing for a little while, but right now I'm happy with it. It looks quite similar in the mounting system to some of the more expensive versions of this that you can buy. So I don't feel too bad about it, but really I'm just going to have to make sure this is as tight as it can be and then run around the block a little bit. But for now, can't really expect much better. The way that that sets is not bad. I've got a bit of a gut, so it can kind of cradle itself there. It feels pretty safe. Let's get a closer look at it. Huh? And then what I can do is I can just go just like this, click, 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 and we're back on the road. But you can see the way this dangles, and I'm not unhappy with it. It's never going to set this way unless it's on a wider shoe. So I'm okay with this. I just need to make sure that there's perhaps not a better way to sew this up and to mount all this to where it could set. Maybe it would be better this way or this way. And again, this is all going to wildly change with heavier lenses. I've got the smallest lens I own on this camera right now, the lowest profile. So we're not going to hope for a lot better. So Hannah's been hard at work, and we have right now what is going to be as close as we're going to get to our finished project. And look at this, we've added a quick release, which pretty much fixes every other problem that I had. I'm pretty happy with it, and we've only made it right now to properly sit comfortably on the right side. So if this did become something we decided to market later, we maybe have to consider making left side straps or something that's slightly more universal for right and left side. But those are complications that don't matter right now. But I am kind of discussing the possibility of marketing this, not because I want to sell it to you guys watching our channel, but because we are looking for products quite like this that are made from recycled materials that we can put on our site and then use social media ads to market them. That's kind of a down the road goal that we have. But for now, I really need one for personal use so I can go into thrift stores or wherever I'm at and be a little bit more stealthy with a slightly bigger camera. Because up until now, inside of thrift stores and stuff, we've really only used my phone and a GoPro. But I can get away with a little bit more with this bigger camera if I have it like this. But wait, we're not done. We've got one more thing to show you. We went ahead and made the red one. And it's a little bit prettier, I think, but it's not quite as stealthy. But it also has quick release. Now, this is my photo camera and this is my video camera, so I could really be a dude and walk around like this, right? Looking like an X-Man. But this I can leave on a sling and take pictures, and it's pretty dope. But if it needs to come off, it is quite simple. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm quite happy with today's creative projects. So there's one more thing I got to get done today, and you've probably noticed in a lot of my videos, the storage boxes that I keep a lot of my loose consumable materials in and a few of my tools. And you've almost certainly, if you've watched this whole video today, noticed a bunch of those boxes in use. Like I ended up getting the buckles that you saw for those camera straps out of one of them, et cetera, et cetera. Some others that I have. Here's my battery box. I keep all my batteries in here. And here's a box I keep a lot of my electronics components in, like on and off switches, little electronic motors, just stuff that I need periodically, but I don't need access to every day. There's a bunch of LEDs, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I set these storage boxes up in a way that, well, let's say when I set these boxes up, I set them up in a way that was very conducive to how I was using my shop at the time. But my focuses in life have changed a lot, and my focuses in making stuff have changed, and it's all way more revolving around this channel than it is revolving around anything else. So I've been clearing out part of my shop and trying to put some tools away that I'm not using regularly anymore. And since I've already got a bunch of these boxes out today, I'm going to go ahead and get one more project done. And that's going to be to lose one more of these rolly carts. Now, you've probably seen these in an episode or two recently because I had 5 or 6 of them. And that's how I kept a lot of my tools organized on carts that I could roll out and use and put back. Well, I'm actually transitioning to using these rolly carts in my toy booths. So I'm gonna get a bunch of tools and materials out of those and into a brand new sorter box and try to lose one more cart so we can get the cart out of the game room workshop into the toy booth and have more space over there for stuff that relates to this channel. That's the plan. These boxes are really nice, fresh. If you're wondering what they are, because I talk about them on my channel all the time, they're Husky. I'll show you the label. Husky 18-inch interlocking organizer. There's a company called Sortimo. Actually, I forget. I'm not going to remember off the top of my head. Sortimo is the product. The manufacturer is another big manufacturer that you would recognize the name of. They kind of invented or began making these modular boxes that you could get different size sorters out of and stuff. And but those boxes are like $100 a piece, and the sorters are $100 for a set. It's something you really don't want to spend a lot of money on if you can help it. So I just kind of use this as a generic version of that Sortimo box. And as you've probably been able to see if you watch the channel regularly, it helps me stay organized all the time. So this sorter box, I'm actually going to take the sorters out of, and we're just going to put a bunch of larger electronic stuff. Now I went ahead and got this electronics box out because some of this stuff will go in there, some of it won't. My portable Ryobi soldering iron is not something that's going to go in there. I can put that aside. I'm just going to put, like, you know, my electrical tapes. And this is going to take some sorting that I don't necessarily need to do all of on camera. So here's boxes full of more like temporary switches. This stuff all needs to go in this box. And then just a heck ton of heat shrink tube. Tons and tons more electronic components. These are actually all arcade buttons. I've got some projects I want to do coming up with arcade buttons. So I keep every arcade button from any electronic I come across at the Goodwill bins. Kind of a mess right now, but that's what these boxes are for. God, there's so many of these, it's stupid. I do not need all those, but... So there we go, that's pretty much gonna empty that cart out. Now I can get that cart prepped for our toy booth, and one of these days when we're all let out of isolation, it can go to the toy booth like it's supposed to. If it ever happens, if we're not stuck here forever and ever. And ever, and ever, and ever. As you can see here, I have these pretty meticulously labeled. They're not particularly organized. Something I need to do, and I'm not gonna do on today's episode, I need to put numbers on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on all the bottoms of these. And then that way I can put a list on the side and a list of very particular stuff. That way if there's any confusion as to what box I put something in, I can go search my list and, you know, basically have a reference for where to go. It's not entirely necessary at this moment because I have them organized where it's pretty easy. Like the stickers are gonna be the stickers, the bolts are gonna be the bolts, etc., etc. But one of these days I need to get around to doing that just so there's no question. But let's go ahead, put all these away. And this box that I just made, I need to print out a sticker that says soldering. That way I know it's that one. But I'm happy with that. I'm telling you, if you've got a lot of materials that you use to make stuff in your workshop or at your home, I highly suggest these boxes. I really do. They really save you a headache. I spent darn near a whole day on an episode the other day organizing this shop, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty much undoing most of it. Not really undoing it, but just kind of changing stuff over. I'm going to put my sandpaper in these drawers, and the paint that I had in the drawers, my whole paint, there's a whole pile of acrylic and water-based paint. No, acrylic and oil, I couldn't think, oil-based paint. I'm going to put those in a box and put them away because I use them like once a year. So It's not necessary. So the sandpaper is taking place in that drawer, so I can take the sandpaper off of here and finish that top shelf out with more of my sorter boxes. Poor paint. Now I can collect all the other sorter boxes from all over the house and finally put them where they all go. Like, here's one over here in the kitchen. It's got all my screws in it. Boom, it goes up there. There's one over here in the game room. Batteries. Boom, it goes up there. Now I'll be right back. There's some in the bedroom. There's all the buckles that we use for those camera straps today. Boom. Hannah, how are you liking Animal Crossing?
It's good. I'm making a lot of progress. I've only played like 8 hours.
If you checked out yesterday's episode, you probably saw we received a copy of Animal Crossing, and Hannah hasn't stopped playing it yet. Hey, go check your friend requests. I sent your friend code to a bunch of people today. You should have some new friends. And there you go. Our friend Dan, and then that's my brother AJ, and then our friend Solar. Add. Be friends.
Become friends. Okay. Become friends. That's funny. That looks a lot like AJ.
It looks just like him.
And that looks exactly like Solar.
It looks just like Solar. All right, guys, that's going to be all that I do for today. But before we get out of here, I want you to do me a favor and comment below. What are you up to right now during this time of seclusion, this time of lockdown, this time of separation? If you're an essential worker, definitely let me know that. Let me know what you're doing. But if you're stuck at home, I also want to know, what are you doing to bide your time? Because you guys know what I'm doing to bide my time. I don't have to explain it to you. I'm just, getting things done that I should have really already had done. The no excuse things. But I really am curious what you guys are doing. So comment that below before we get out of here. And then also before you get out of here, do me some favors. You know what I'm going to say. Join our Discord, link below. Come hang out over there. It's the best time ever to join. If you're stuck at home doing nothing, join our Discord. Come chat with the rest of the community. Also, before you go, check out our website, tindostrash.com. I know what a lot of tomorrow's video is going to be. We got a lot of stuff to ship out. We sold a ton of stuff on Tindo's Trash on the website over the weekend. So as soon as we wake up tomorrow, we're going to get all that stuff shipped out. Some surprising stuff sold on the website. So if you've never seen our website, tindostrash.com, do me a favor and just go give it some traffic, all right? And then lastly, or the last two things, I guess, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. And that's it, guys. If you hit the notification bell, you'll get a notification tomorrow when we do post a video. You can come back then and find out how much more madness I've sunk into then. Until then, guys, peace out.